I am going to talk about industries and policies. But first, it is necessary to understand what an industry is. An industry is the group of companies and activities involved in the process of producing certain goods or services. We have, for example, the textile industry, the educational industry, the energetical industry, and the now very important and very necessary pharmaceutical industry due to the COVID pandemic. Let's locate ourselves in the US for a moment. Most of its industries aim to expand the market access and increase exports, so they want to export their products to other nations. Therefore, some regulation is needed. The governments set some strategies to promote competitiveness and capabilities of local companies for them to be able to compete with these foreign companies that want to export their products. This is sort of to set a ground for fair competence for local companies. So, let's take, for example, the pharmaceutical industry. Each government has its own policies. However, in the international field, we need some international organs to regulate the industry. In the pharmaceutical industry, we have the IFPMA, which is the International Federation of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers and Associations. This organ or this institution is in charge of regulating the way the pharmaceutical industry works on an international level. So, this organ, for example, it is officially related with the UN. So, we can say that it's a good regulating organ. However, as good as these policies sound, they can be affected by lobbying. What is lobbying? Well, lobbying is a kind of type of legal bribe to the government in order to influence their decision making. So, companies cannot give bags of money to governments for them to allow these companies to sell their products in their nations. However, these companies can persuade the governments to do so. Not with bags of money, but perhaps taking the secretary or the person in charge of deciding which company is going to be in charge of selling certain products, but they can take them to fancy trips or fancy dinners. Why? Why do they do that? To have a special treat in the government. This can help to lower their quotas or increase others' quotas, to avoid unions so that the companies have cheap labor, and other sets of changes that can help certain companies to develop more. So, is this ground really fair? Well, I think that the wealthiest companies have more advantages at obtaining the legal right to sell their products in certain countries. So I don't think it is really fair, because this lobbying, as legal as it is unfair for local companies because they have to compete with companies that have more capital than them. So it is very difficult for a small local company to compete with an international wealthy company. Thank you.